I mean, only thing I could think of is that she asked me to give her lifetime medical, and I couldn't. And I told her she was crazy when she was going all the time.
Good, how you doing?
She looked like a crazy woman. I told her.
Hey, thanks again, Chris. No problem.
Oh, I should have mine.
They're real good.
It's at home being, I forgot to bring it.
You know what? I meant to send you a picture of how we were setting it up, and by the time I meant to, it was gone.
Damn it.
We gotta try
I
that.
gotta go get it. I don't know. Right. I took it on the wash and then forgot. And you can't believe it now. It's up. You can pull it.
I said, I know you're ready. Oh, that's mine? Yeah. I'm making sure you don't handle it. Did you handle it? Are you all right? Do you need back the last? No, I'm giving your address, huh? I'm doing a fundraiser. Call to order the council meeting of June 16th, 1920. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
2020.
What year is it?
1920.
Oh, 20. Okay. Well, that would have been good if I could do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
A quorum is present for City Council, Successor Agency, and Housing Authority.
Okay, so let's try this. Sergeant Arms, is there any member of the public, Community Room A, who are present and wish to address the council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority on any item of today's agenda, other than the public hearings?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Well, the Sergeant at Arms states no one is present, or kind of by omission. Operator, is there any member of the public in the queue who wishes to address any of the agencies on today's agendas other than the public hearings? Operator? Okay. Then I would assume there are no callers in the queue. Alex?
What's wrong?
Alex?
What's wrong?
Alex?
Well, there you go, there's a picture right there. Doesn't look like there's anybody there.
On the phone.
No, they're going back to check the call into the operator. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Will allow payments. Second.
Madam Clerk?
City Council, successor agency and housing authority members, Padilla.
Dodson is.
Oh.
Nobody.
I was gonna do
I know. Go ahead.
Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Alice.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Let's see, consent calendar. Items 2 through 5.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR1.
Don't knock myself around. Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution pertaining to the general municipal election to be held on November 3rd, 2020.
Move adoption, number 1 and 2.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR2 and CSA2.
Staff report recommending authorization to utilize tax-exempt bond funds to fund the remaining payment for the work performed by TL Veterans Construction at parking structure number 2 located at 115 North Locust Street.
Move item city council number 1 and move successor agency number 1.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council and successor agency members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. DR3.
Staff report recommending to reallocate $500,000 in home funds for the homeless tenant-based rental assistant program.
Move items 1 and 2.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Before we were calling SPH 1 and 2, but I have a request to speak by the Director of Economic and Community Development in regards to these two items, Mr. Chris Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Actually, it's SPH 2 and 3.
Oh,
You can
okay.
go forward with SPH 1.
Okay. Okay, so first we're going to call SPH 1. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sure. Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to consider adoption of a resolution establishing short-term rental fees.
Set the public hearing for June 30th, 2020 at 2 p.m. And now we request to speak before SPH 2 and 3.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for allowing staff to address these matters. As you may be aware, we have received a number of correspondences from the public expressing concerns about limited public participation and their ability to provide comments during the June 9th, 2020 City Council meeting for the General Plan Amendments PH1 and PH2. Due to these expressed concerns, staff is requesting that the matters considered and approved at the June 9th meeting will be requesting that they be rescinded and reconsidered as new items at the City Council meeting of June 30th. This will ensure that the public participation concerns will be addressed. That concludes staff's comments. Thank you. I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Hearing no questions, is there a motion on SPH? No, excuse me. So we're going to set the public hearing for June 30th, 2020 at 2 for SPH 2. Set the public hearing for June 30th, 2020 at 2 p.m. for SPH 3. And just in case someone had any trouble calling in for general public comment, I'm advising you, you can call in again so that we make sure that we didn't miss anybody. And the operator will notify us if someone comes in. This will be for general public comment at this time. 01.
Staff report recommending adoption of an ordinance number 20-09, amending Chapter 3 of the Inglewood Municipal Code to implement the citywide permit parking district program.
Motion to waive further reading?
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
Move adoption?
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1.
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from the city manager's office.
CC1.
Mayor, I just wanted to report out nomination period starts on July 13th, ends August 7th. That's the end of my remarks. Thank you.
All right, CT1.
Yes, just wanted to alert the council and those watching that I did purchase a one bond, 5-year, at .78 Exxon buy. I have 3 items I'm going to address, but I won't be able to get to all of them, so I'm just going to go as fast as I can. Council member George Dodson, Alex Padilla, Eloy Morales, and Ralph Franklin, and City Clerk Yvonne Horton. We were elected by the registered voters of Inglewood to be the independent ears, eyes, and voices for them. We were not elected to rule over them, the employees and the executive staff members, but to work with them, to provide effective good government with them for the residents. The employees should not be fearful or intimidated by this mayor and council, city treasurer, or city clerk. Sadly, many are. Many of the city employees live in Inglewood, are well-educated, are excellent, and excellent workers, have good work experience, and are an asset to this city. Many have earned college degrees during their tenure with the city. Others have earned valuable kinds of certifications. Councilmember Dotson, Padilla, and Morales, for the life of me, I cannot comprehend why you allow Mayor Butts to treat me in the manner in which he has. You 3 alone have the real power. Mayor Butts have only a single vote. I supported each of you in your respective elections. I walked precincts for you, made phone calls for you, put yard signs up for you, gave contribution to your campaigns. You 3 have sat in your respective council seat and allowed Mayor Butts to reduce my treasurer verbal report time to 5 minutes, with an additional 3 minutes to discuss anything I choose, to a single 3 minutes. You have allowed him to become a signer on the approval for the payment of bond proceeds, which has never happened or occurred in the history of this city. Mayor Butts is the very first mayor to sign for the approval of bond proceeds in the entire history of this country for Pioneer Construction Company, which resulted in an overpayment of $77,418.26. Not one of you said a word when Mayor Butts eliminated my verbal reports altogether from the council agenda. This happened when Judy Dunlap and Mike Stevens were council members, as I best remember. He only reinstated the verbal report when I agreed to collect signatures to put an item on the ballot, to raise his salary to that of a superior court judge, and to raise the council member's salary to that of $100,000, and to raise the treasurer's salary to match that of the city clerk. I had no intentions whatsoever to follow through. Mayor Butts even gave me a list of names of individuals to be on the committee. My 8-page memorandum to Mayor Butts supports this. Take a look and read it. City Clerk, I ask you to please put this in your minutes, because I will not be allowed, he will not permit me to give the full report, and it will be on my website by the end of the week.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, has there ever been a measure put forward to raise the council salaries in the last 9 years?
Say that one more time. because
Has
I
there
heard
been a
you-
measure put forward to you to raise the council salaries in the
Not
last
before
9
me,
years?
no.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Quakey, could you come up and give us a breakdown on the bond payment, overpayment that the treasurer keeps referring to? And just give us the chronology. It was a $77,000 overpayment to Pinner.
Yes.
First of all, is Pinner $77,000 ahead right now?
No, sir.
All right, go ahead and let's try to put this to bed.
This is the first page. As you can see, when we made initial payment, it was a payment that was made out of the bond proceeds. And we inadvertently paid and included the retention payment, therefore making an overpayment to them. However, on a subsequent payment, we deducted the amount of the retention, as you can see on invoice 19. We deducted it from that payment, so therefore at that point, we were even with the contractor. And the contractor was worked with the city very well, and they acknowledged it was overpaid. So at that point, we were in balance with the city.
And so where did the overpayment reside before it was put back to the bond proceed line item?
Well, as you can see, because this project was a senior center project, and it was a multi-funded project, it was paid out of the bond funds, but the credit was taken out of the general fund, which was the Section 108 grant fund.
Mm-hmm.
So what accounting did was accounting did a journal entry to record a receivable from the general fund and a payable from the general fund owing to the successor agency bond proceeds, and had that on the books.
Okay.
What we did was we waited until we vetted everything through our audit and made sure that everything was good, everything was clear. Unfortunately, we had COVID. And then we transferred the money back to the trustee where the bond proceeds are held.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And those monies will be available for the next drawdown.
So to make this really clear, Pinner, upon a subsequent payment that they were owed for work, they were shorted in that payment $77,000 or whatever the amount is, and that sat in an account, and we had all the journal tracks and transactions to show they were not $77,000 up on the city, and that at the appropriate time, after we finished our audits, we did a journal entry to now show the money instead of the general fund account, that it was now in the bond account. And so the money has never been gone, is that right?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. You're very welcome. I mean, you know, this is supposed to be what you have a treasurer for, but anyway. So, council remarks. Councilman Dodson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one comment, really. I've been in this city 50-plus years. I've never seen a change in administration that made such a difference in our city. That started with Mayor Butts. I'm grateful to serve on this team because we have done something that has never been done before. As I've heard the mayor say, rise from ashes. And that's what has happened. I mean, let's give ourselves credit as we give ourselves when we mess up. But right now, we're on the top. And it looks like to me, we're on our way even further. So let's not start fighting among ourselves for something that can be settled somewhere else. With that, I'm going to say to everyone out in the audience, be safe, wear your mask, and take care.
Thank you, Councilman Dodson. Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Great, thank you, Mayor. And
I want to thank staff for clarifying these things, because sometimes when people get up and they say things that aren't correct, and they speak from a position of trust, it makes it confusing for the general public. And so then we have to come back from the dais and bring city staff and have to correct this for the record, because to not correct it, we're doing a disservice. And so what you saw today is for us to have city staff come up, show folks, this is what occurred. There is no shamalama, there is no fake left, go right. We do things above board, and that's why we do our audits and inspections, so that we can say that we did things the way they are supposed to be done. And so I want to thank staff for clarifying that. Mayor, thank you for your questions on that and adding your clarification remarks as well. And then, when somebody gets up here and says, you know, I supported you, I did lawn signs and knocked on doors, they forget that we all did the same for that person. And we did the same for when that person was looking for funds, our own money, from our own pocket, to help her with programs that she did. And she does great programs. Nobody's ever gonna say she didn't. But we also do that. We give from our own time and from our own pocketbook to do that.
Hey, Madam
You know,
Treasurer.
and so,
Madam
you know,
Treasurer.
And so, you know, I just, you know, gotta tell you, it gets very disappointing when somebody that you have respect for comes up and does these type of things and comes at us like saying that we rule people. That's not what we do. None of us do that. People that know us better than that. And I'm not even gonna get into that, because it's just nonsense. And then to say that we got people that are all fearful, employees, and again, I don't get it. I don't know what that person's objective is, because just a few months ago, if you look, she was praising the mayor, the council, and everything that we do all the time. This is the best council and mayor that I've ever worked with. And then to turn around suddenly and say that there's nothing that we can do that is right. That's not good. That's not good. You know, so what we do because it's the right thing to do for our community and to provide leadership for everyone. Also, I just want to wish everybody a blessed Father's Day. If you're a father, or if you're a big brother, if you have that father figure, thank you. Thank you, because we need more of that in every community. And so everybody have a blessed Father's Day. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Saba from Queen of Sheba, right here at Hyde Park in La Brea. She provided over 250 meals yesterday for free for our community. So I want to thank Saba from Queen of Sheba. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Franklin?
Yes, thank you. I want to echo those same sentiments by Councilman Dodson and also Councilman Padilla, but I want to move on to a new area. It has to be with recently, we're receiving a number of phone calls and emails, messages regarding the upcoming closure of Warren Lane Elementary School. And I want everyone to be made aware that on June 15th, Dr. Erica Torres, who's the county administrator, announced with the Inglewood Unified School District Board of Education on Friday, June 12th, is when they made that decision. This is a school district, autonomous from the city government, and that was their decision that they made. So I do want to indicate that they've already got steps in place for the smooth transition of those students that currently attend Warren Lane Elementary School to the surrounding other schools in their district to accommodate this transition. So that is their decision, and we respect their decision that they've made. Thank you very much, Mayor. Oh, and by the way, I do want to acknowledge that last week was my birthday, and that as I become a mature adult, I would be remiss if I did not thank my family on how they treated me and the words of expression of love toward me that shows that my my labor of love has not gone in vain, and as I share with them, I'm glad I could smell my roses while I still have my health and on this land to enjoy the quality of life that I've been able to enjoy. And finally, this coming weekend, happy Father's Day to those that are fathers, and enjoy your day of opportunity this Sunday. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Operator, in the event that anybody calls in before we conclude this meeting, I'm telling anybody watching, the line is open. We're not going to do this again, but we're going to open the line again just to make sure that anyone that wanted to talk about any item on the agenda gets a chance. So, Mr. Operator, if anybody calls in between now and the time we conclude the meeting, which will be about the next 6 minutes, for this time, we'll take their call. All right?
All right, we do have someone on the line waiting to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
All right, caller, go ahead.
I have no comment at this time.
Okay, there's no comment.
I heard that. I'm stunned. Councilman Morales.
Thank you, and, I want to share some of the same sentiments as my colleagues. I wish Ms. Brown hadn't left right now. Ralph, Yvonne, we were here during some tough times where, politically, we saw a lot of personal attacks up here. And the truth is, the city went nowhere under that climate. It was something that was tasteless, and it got no product out of it. This is similar. The truth is that most of the issues that get presented here, some of us have already looked into it, and we're satisfied with what we find. We don't have to bring it out here and make somebody look bad when we know the truth. We know the truth. Being mayor has so many positive things, opportunities, and just to be our leader. But it also comes with the fact that he is the focal point of so many things that happen here, both positive and negative. When a mistake like that happens, it's not enough for some people that it's resolved and it was done ethically and every step was taken. It's not enough. Some people choose to attack at a time where they see they can gain some ground, both politically and create a platform. That's ridiculous. Ms. Brown mentioned that she helped us. We help each other. We all have helped each other up here. And that's the way it should be, first of all. We disagree when we have to. Another thing that is said by folks who want to attack us is that we do nothing while the mayor is tormenting others. We hear that all the time, and it's ridiculous. The mayor is doing his job, and if we feel the need to say something, we will.
And have.
And it's one of those things where we have a mutual respect for each other's position, but the fact that anyone thinks that they can come up here and say a few words and try to instigate a division between ourselves up here, our colleagues, our mayor, ourselves, try again. I mean, it's something that is a ridiculous effort, and it's time that this stops, because if it's a weekly thing, I guess we could listen to a few minutes and then move on. But it's sad. So with that, I do want to close on a positive note, Mayor. Just, it is Father's Day weekend. We have a lot to be thankful for, and the city is doing great considering the COVID environment and how it is affecting so many other cities and where we are stationed. We have to make some adjustments, but there will be nowhere near the impact that other cities are feeling. So with that, happy Father's Day, and Mayor, thank you very much.
And I just want to ride on, things that all of the council people have said. It's a lot of work to run the city in the way and to bring it as far as it's come. And I'm going to tell you right now, these guys don't agree with everything that I do and say. And let me tell you something, we yell at each other sometimes, but we don't do it in public.
Exactly.
Okay? I get pissed off with them, they get pissed off with me, but in the end, it's about the residents, the employees, and the city. And that's what it's about. And so it really is disturbing because what Ms. Brown has been doing is not about the city. This is a city council meeting. It's not a city treasurer's meeting. She doesn't have to be allowed to speak, period. It's a city council meeting. She speaks at the pleasure of the chair, and even though she's done all this, we've let her do that. But I don't know how much longer it's going to go on. She's used her time to attack the city manager without justification. She's spent untold meetings talking about this Pinner overpayment that has long since been reconciled. And I'll tell you the problems budget-wise that we've had. We paid $700,000 years ago for employees out of housing funds that the federal government said, no, that's an improper allocation, and we paid it back. We were unable, we had about $200,000 in transit occupancy taxes that were uncollectible, and they stayed on the books for over 10 years. And in the last audit, we wrote them off. We didn't lose any money. We just, at some point, the city, long time ago, didn't collect TOT that they were entitled to. And it was on the books, and it was written off. And then this great Pinner mystery, which basically what happened is a payment was made to them that had already been credited to them out of bond proceeds, and so we withheld it from a future payment for a future contract. It has been put back ledger-wise. The money was never gone. So it's time for this to stop. But to close on a positive note, I do have a clip from Ms. Brown doing Better Days. So Thomas, if you would roll it, please.
Mr. Mayor, before you close up, I'd like to.
Okay. Go ahead, Thomas.
Heavy debt.
Louder.
And as of now, the city exited that bankruptcy on February the 25th, 2015, with nearly 3 years of reorganization before the federal judge approved his
Can't
plan.
add it. We need it louder.
About 1,100
Start it
retirees
over.
lost their medical.
And we're going to play one of these every week.
That's the loudest to go right now.
All right, well, let's do the best we can.
And as of now, the city exited that bankruptcy on February the 25th, 2015, with nearly 3 years of reorganization before the federal judge approved his plan. About 1,100 retirees lost their medical insurance coverage. The total cost of the bankruptcy, $41 million. That concludes.
Now, I really like that report. Thank you very much. The contrast is
Contrast to
scintillating.
where we are and with the steps that the council and the mayor is taking to avoid that very thing happening here.
Oh, this is too bad. Thomas is feeding back. We'll show it next week, Thomas. All right, I'm very sorry about this. Councilman Dotson, did you want to close with something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just neglected to wish Happy Father's Day, and we got a bunch of fathers around here. So I want to watch everybody a very safe and great Father's Day. So thank you, Mayor.
All right. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and we're adjourned.